Well,
I have confirmation. Daniel Greer tried to jump in the show and hit the wrong button and literally canceled the show.
yep.
He's devastated right now. Daniel, join the show and let us let you in. Like, we'll get you in here.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening. As Lauren wants to say, ¿Qué pasó?
¿Qué pasó?
Yo no sé. Actually, you'll say Daniel.
Daniel, DG. Daniel. You know what it was? I'll be frank with you. I know what it was. The man is so concerned that you're a better host than he is. He just came in and hijacked the show, bro.
There's nothing to be concerned about. I am.
Yeah, listen, it just is what it is, man. Just accept the realities of the situation.
Well, now that we've lost about 700 viewers, we'll get back into what we were talking about before. Wayno, that was a Daniel sabotage.
Yep.
Just so we're super clear on that. We're gonna have to figure out how to parse these shows together. We just made Kenny's life harder because I'm sure I'm not doing that. But Daniel just sabotaged the entire show because he knows he's losing his grip. But beside the points, for everyone who is still here, appreciate you coming back into the second stream. Sorry that Daniel did Daniel things. We all know it was DG behind it. Getting back into what we were talking about, though. For everybody already knows it was Daniel or something.
Everybody said, damn, Daniel. I need that.
I love it.
They knew it.
All right, getting back into it. We were talking about Bagley. All right. And we were talking about Bagley playing really good minutes in the Suns game. Mason Plumlee, who just got KO'd by Steven Adams tonight, by the way. Mason Plumlee, what a lame-o, dude. Steven Adams saved his life, and he's been gunning for his neck ever since, which is so weird.
I got a totally different take on that. Mason Plumlee showed how strong he is, because if you know grappling, like I know you do, Steven Adams had the underhooks on him and had full leverage to be able to do whatever he wanted, and Mason just went flop and just threw him on the ground. That was crazy, bro.
Except for only one dude was leaking blood by the end of it, and it wasn't Steven Adams. But yeah, I'm with you.
He got if you're scoring that fight, that was a takedown with control, is what that was, and that was crazy. Daniel. Oh wait. I'm so sorry, everyone. I was going to go in and push the different camera button and freaked out when I showed up on the screen.
And so he just started pressing buttons.
Yeah,
he ran to panic. Coach Weisberg, if you ever see this, that one's for you, Coach. But Daniel ran to panic. But all the same, I just am not him. Every time Mason Plumlee gets in a fight, if there's any way for me to say he lost, he lost. So, So Nate pushed the Grizz 901 camera button so it looks normal. Oh, he wants me to push that button.
There you go.
There we go. Don't really care that much. Didn't notice it till now. Wasn't a big deal. It's not a reason to tank the show, Daniel. But Marvin Bagley, getting back to it. This was a night where I felt like you're going against Walker Kessler. You're going against Filipowski, Markkanen. You're going against John Collins. You could use a big who is agile.
Yeah.
That's Marvin Bagley.
I would have liked to have seen Marvin out there more, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I think Jay offered you some good stuff when he did play. I mean, what did he give you? He hit he was 1 for 4 from 3, 2 for 6. I mean, whatever. +8, 4 rebounds, 1 block, 1 assist. Played well, but I think you could have absolutely used some Marvin Bagley minutes in this game. And I was slightly confused as to why he didn't play, but it is what it is.
Well, before we get into a deep dive, everyone let Daniel know we love him.
It's love all Daniel.
Good. We're okay. We love you, buddy. We're just messing.
We were just confused. We were like, what the heck is going on?
I was like, we got hacked. But with Bagley, I talked to Daniel about this last time.
Yeah.
Should he have a chance to get minutes because he fits a lot with this team? About what you would want. He fits well with your stars. He's also a big with a lot of potential and a team that you could use another center that can play. Sure. Anytime Taylor's got his guys, he's going to go with the guys he trusts. Same reason Gigi's not getting minutes, right? Like he trusts Brandon Clark. He trusts Santi Aldama. J Huff's been there all year. He knows how he's going to play J Huff. He knows what to do with him in the clutch situations or just in general out there.
Yeah.
Going to be tough for Bagley to get minutes, no matter what the talent level is. Now, I'm interested to hear from you. Do you believe in that? Or do you think he should just get those minutes anyways?
Oh God, it's so tough, man, because I'm a believer in continuity, right? Like I think continuity is a real thing. I think knowing, especially not having coached at a high level, obviously, like Taylor Jenkins, you do tend to play the guys you trust. And so I recognize that and I understand that. But I think he's here for a reason, right? And I just get confused as to why he's put out in some games and why not in others. And tonight just felt like the perfect game for him to get minutes. And so do I think he should just automatically come in and start getting minutes? No, I don't suspect that, but I do think there is I do think he has a certain skill set and a certain dynamic that he can, provide that helps in games like this, right? Like that would help in a game like this. So do I think he should just get like a random set number of minutes? That's kind of been my critique of Taylor all year is that he has too rigid of those kinds of rotations and minutes distribution. Like I don't want to just insert Marvin Bagley into that and remove somebody else from the equation. I do think that there are games where you have to kind of play by the feel of the game and go, what would work best for this team right now? And for this game, Marvin should have gotten more minutes. I think like as much as I think Lamar Stevens is awesome, I think you take some of those minutes away from him and give them to Bagley, honestly, for this game.
Yep. And like Art's saying, just given the particular matchup tonight is what made me think
100%.
he should play. Completely with Wayno. Small sample size. That makes it really tough. With this team, though, the thing is you don't have a tiny sample size of Marvin Bagley in the league. And when he has played, he's been
effective.
Effective. That's a good word for it.
Let me ask you this. How many guys on this team do you think should have a rigid number of minutes that they get per game? Like that you say you're penciled in no matter what, no matter the matchups, no matter who it is, you get these minutes. This is how many you should play. How many guys on this team do you think should be in that category? Go ahead.
It's a short list. It's a super short list. Ja, Des, Jaren, Brandon.
Wow.
That's it. Maybe Santi. But I'm still like that's dependent on how he's playing too, right?
Right.
Same thing with Luke. Is Luke knocking down shots? Is he spacing the floor? Is he having, as the kids would say, gravity, or not on a given night? So outside of that, Ja, Jaren, Des, Brandon, matchup proof. That's the only guys you have.
I agree. So that's why I say there are guys on this team that should have a rigid number of minutes, right? Like this is the rotation. This is when you play. And everything else flows around that, right? Like no matter who it is, that's why you have the bench that you have. That's why you've made the moves that you've made, is so that you can have a bench where you have kind of a diversity of roles on that bench that can come in and do different things for you from game to game. There are games where Zach's not going to be able to play much because he's going to get, beat off the dribble too much, or he's going to, so you don't play him 30 minutes a game or 20 minutes a game. Sometimes you play him 12 and then give the rest to somebody else. You just disperse it that way. But I agree with your list. I think Santi is creeping towards that role to me because I think he adds such a he's such a matchup problem, I think, when he's aggressive. Same with Luke, right? Like he's very difficult to guard when he's being aggressive.
Yep.
But that's why those guys aren't rigid in their minutes, because they're not always aggressive. There's not a consistency there, right? But with Ja, with Jaren, with Dez, and with BC, you know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get. Let's not let a few games this year of an injured Ja, a guy trying to figure his way back into the league after having not played much over the last couple of years, change the fact that we have a really good sample size of what Ja Morant is. Like, we know who he is, right? He deserves those minutes, but
Sorry, we saw the same comment at the same time. Bueno Sarah's been talking to Spanish milk carton.
I love Wado. He can't stand Santi, can
Yeah, Bueno, not everyone hates him the way that you do, brother. But on that note, this is the one thing, because it's just so unlikely given the way this coaching staff, this team, this franchise operates, that we see much of Marvin Bagley, which is a shame because there is a ton of potential with that, especially you put him next to Jaron. There's a reason Bagley went over Jaron in that draft. Right. He has a potential, and he's lived up to it when he's been healthy.
Yes.
Sort of. Has he been like a top 5 pick level of production? No. Has it been a, hey, I could be a really productive center for you production?
Yes.
Absolutely.
His career numbers are better than Brandon's. Let's be frank about it. Like, let's be real about it. Like, his career numbers are better than Brandon's at this point. Now, Brandon has a longer sample size, I think, because he's not been as injured as Marvin is, but he's a talented guy.
Yep. And what I'm interested in is this a guy who you can get for on the cheap, have him be long term after this? Because there's so much potential there. Now it's not the priority, right? The priority for the Grizzlies is develop Zach Edey at this point, because this year you have him. There's no chance to go get a vet center. Maybe Edey is the answer long term. I'm still skeptical, but we'll see. And you've got to consolidate your wings. You got to get that wings. Point blank, period. But you got to forget 15 players, 14 players one way or another. Marvin Bagley has not been healthy enough to earn a massive contract. That could be something that actually does work out. Mm-hmm. So I'd be interested to see that. But that is pretty much all the Grizz talk we have for this second edition of the Grizz 901 reboot tonight, I guess is what we'll call it. Before we hop out of here, anything else on this game tonight? Anything else about this team in general you just want to get off your chest? Because this is our quota for the year. This is probably the last time we'll talk.
This is it. This is going to be the last time we talk all year. I love seeing the Grizzlies are the most important sports program in the city of Memphis. And I spend the majority of my time with the Memphis Tigers. And so seeing them do well is a joy for me. Like, I think there are a lot of flaws to this team right now, to this roster right now. There's a lot of flaws. I would say shout out to the front office for setting up, I think, this team to be successful for the future, right? And let's not forget that this team is still third in the West right now, right? Like, with all the flaws that we've seen, with all the things that we complain about every single Grizzly show on Bluff City Media's network, there's so much complaining that happens. This team is still third in the West and is set up for the future. Like, the future is extremely bright for this Grizzlies franchise. And so I just want to keep that in mind, man. Like, every year, is it 30 teams in the NBA now, or is it 31? 30?
30.
30. 29 teams go home disappointed, right? At different times, obviously, they go home disappointed. Do I think the Grizzlies are contenders this year? I don't think so. I think the trade deadline proved that. I think they are set up, though, for success for the future, and they're still third in the West right now. So, man, just get behind this team and keep cheering them on. Shout out to Ja, Jaren, and Des.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We're having what would be considered a somewhat disappointing season in a lot of people's eyes, and they're 42-24, third in the West. By the way, Wolves and Nuggets facing off right now on what channel? ESPN.
Yeah.
Wolves have the lead. There's a chance they are up to the 2 seed by the end of the night. If nothing else, 3 seed facing the Wolves. I'm not sure what the tiebreaker looks like for Golden State, Minnesota, and Denver and Memphis. But
interesting.
Put you in an interesting spot, to say the least. They have a chance to still do a lot of noise in the postseason. And the biggest thing that I'll give everybody out here that I've said all of last year, and it proved true for like 3 games before it all got sabotaged and turned to dust. Getting Ja Morant back changes a lot.
Changes everything.
Ja Morant's played a bunch of games this year. We haven't seen Ja Morant consistently until the past 2 to 3 weeks. getting Ja Morant back changes
Changes it
a
all.
lot of stuff. So if you can get Ja Morant playing to the level of an SGA, of a Steph Curry, all of who we would have said both of those guys he's on par with when he's playing at his best over the course of his career. SGA is obviously otherworldly this year, to be clear. But that can help you a lot. So that's all you want. You want hope, and you want to be able to cheer your team on going into the playoffs. And we're right there with it. So excited to do Friday night. For everybody here, again, we are the Grizz 901 post-game show. Appreciate y'all tuning in, especially if you're here right now. That means you re-tuned in. So appreciate you very much.
Y'all are the real ones, man. The 179 people that are watching this right now, y'all are the real ones, man. I appreciate
Yeah, because we lost like everybody for the most part. No, we did lose everybody for a minute, but we will be back Friday night. I believe Daniel will be back by then. I should still be here. Maybe we'll have some guests depending on how crazy the game gets. I know Kenny won't be one of those because he will be going to Texas for the American Athletic Conference tournaments. Everybody tune in. Again, Tigers coverage is unbelievable here at Bluff City Media. So definitely tune in.
Shout out to Francis Carlotta, Tigers Live Tigers Live host, the post game show. Most of the Tigers games that are going to be happening during this weekend are in the afternoon, so they won't interfere with Grizz 901. But man, I will say this: I think BCM has the two best post game shows in the entire city, and so this show is awesome. This show. I said this on Tigers Live a few weeks ago. Daniel was in the comment section, and I said this, and I 100% mean it. Tigers Live exists because of Grizz 901. So you guys are phenomenal at what you do. Keep grinding, keep going. Daniel's the man. You're awesome, bro. Like, you're awesome. So Tigers Live we started Tigers Live because we're like, Grizz 901 is really good. Let's try a Tigers show. And so that's why that show exists. So come hang out with us. Francis Carlotta's the man. Roman will be in there. I'll be in there. You'll see all the press conference with some highlight packages, all that kind of stuff. If the Grizz would give me a media credential, I'll get some highlight packages for the Grizzlies too. But
story for another day. But that's all we got for tonight. We will see y'all again on Friday, hopefully for another Grizz W. I am Nate, your temporary co-host. This is Kenny Stubblefield joining us before he heads to Texas. Y'all be careful, be safe, be nice. Tell your friends.